there are some things going on today that could actually cause a little bit of excitement in the crypto market. Might not be much, but it might be exactly what the market needs to liquidate some shorts, potentially move to the upside. We'll talk about that in this video because I didn't get a chance to mention these earlier. And I do want to talk about actually this major claim from this massive, huge whale in the crypto space, as well as ADA hitting some pretty important levels that we have not seen since our last breakout. All that and more in this video. So if you guys are new or haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below, hit that bell. It's free to do. It'll keep you updated anytime there's new content live here on the channel. Now, let's start with the news because there are a lot of things taking place today that you do need to know about. First of all, Trump is going to be speaking with President Putin. Yeah, he's president of Russia. And why this is so important is right now, for those that aren't aware, there is a ceasefire in place between Ukraine and Russia. Russia has made some pretty big demands. And so we're going to wait and see how these discussions shake out, if there are some concessions that are made, but we just got to be patient, watch, and wait, and hopefully some positive news comes out of this. Now, what we're also seeing today is Coinbase is joining the S&P 500. Hopefully some great performance there today. Saylor is expected to announce another BTC purchase, potentially even coming before this video comes out. He tends to be a lot more active earlier on in the week for whatever reason. Maybe he spends the weekend just begging for change on the street corners, who knows, but maybe that's what leads to his purchases earlier on in the week. The U.S. Senate is also going to be voting on the stablecoin bill, the Genius Act, today. And we are also going to see CME to be launching XRP futures. So that's all pretty exciting stuff, maybe causing some volatility as the day moves on. Now, some things that are not good that you need to be aware of. 10-year bond yields rising. 30-year bond yields rising, hitting actually the highest levels we have seen since 2023. Now, why these are so important is when bond yields are rising, when they are getting high, you tend to see some hesitance in flowing to speculative assets. The stock market, the crypto market, they tend to perform not quite as well when these things are rising. In fact, you guys can see the inverse correlation taking place, right? We've been on a consolidation period for the past week. Well, what's been rising the past week? 10-year bond yields. 30-year bond yields. All right. So that is something to watch very closely because there tends to be a huge inverse correlation. We haven't just gotten this major breakdown quite yet, right? We got obviously a little burst of excitement. We saw China playing games and we've just kind of been chopping and all over the place since then. All right. Now, what gives me a little bit of excitement, and I try to not lean on the words of one person, but this 40x Bitcoin whale who we've talked about a couple times that has this huge $499 million Bitcoin long position said the volcano is about to erupt. So sometimes these guys know something. A lot of people have asked, do they know something? Maybe, maybe not, right? And I made a joke in my Patreon. Hopefully this volcano erupting doesn't mean that we're going to see a sea of red across the crypto space. I hope that's not the case at all. All right. Now, what I did want to talk about here as well is we are seeing a lot of these negative bearish articles that don't really have a lot of bearing here. And what this said is Cardano at risk of death cross as bears eye key support levels. And what this death cross that they're talking about is on the 4-hour chart. Anybody talking about these crossovers on short-term trends they don't really know what they're doing. Right now, ADA is actually in a golden cross. All right. We actually got this back on, oh gosh, what day was that? Wednesday? I think Wednesday. And by Thursday of last week, we had confirmed this. And we've talked about the golden cross here in terms of ADA before. Last time we got one was all the way back here in the middle of November. And then we had one, what was that? The November before that. And both times these actually led to significant pumps. Like we talked about, both these times it ran about 130%. The worst performing golden cross that ADA has as that was actually only a 40% gain, which would obviously be still a nice move up from here. But right now we've obviously been down during that time. And that's okay. That's not an uncommon thing. In fact, the one that we saw back in 2023, we chopped for 18 days before we actually did anything, before we made some extended moves. Understand with golden crosses, you don't need to just pop like that. It is the confirmation of a bigger, more longer term move. And that's a very big deal. In fact, what I will say is that ADA's reached some pretty important levels on some other trends. When we look at this stochastic RSI, this is something I've been looking at and using a lot lately. And what we're seeing here is actually we have just reached the oversold range. Now, last time we reached the oversold range was all the way back here on Tuesday, May 6th. And if you guys remember, after just a couple days, we actually got our cross on the stochastic RSI. And then we saw ADA rally. Oh gosh, from those days, ran about 30% or so, which is obviously a very nice move for ADA. Maybe that's what we're headed towards again. This can be tracked many times where we reach these oversold range, rally, oversold range, rally, oversold range, rally, right? Doesn't have to happen right away. You can kind of putz around in there for a while, but what we still want to see is, momentum shifting. We want to see traditional RSI start to move back towards its trend line, right? Or back towards the signal line. There are some things that just have to continue to take place in the crypto market. I'd love to see ADA just organically moving up and to the right. The good news is that it can move separate from BTC, which we've seen it do before. But right now, with where retail sentiment is at, it might take just kind of a little bit of a push from BTC, just a little bit of a kick in the pants. Frankly, we need Ethereum to stop crapping the bed. Part of yesterday's move down was ETH just kind of killing our rally. We saw ADA run to that 77-cent level. And then ETH just dropped a massive amount in a short period of time. Now, ETH finished with the green day too, but you guys can see what that did. It just caused retail to just go, just cry and complain and just, people sell off in disgust. Go figure, right? But those are a few things to pay attention to today. We'll see, obviously, if this whale is on to something, if we do start making some significant moves, and definitely watch this stochastic RSI as time goes on. Did want to point to, again, the weekly, we're still in a bullish trend there. That's a great sign. On the monthly, looks like, again, we're very close to flipping that and starting to get back on a bullish trend once again. Last time that took place was actually all the way back here in October of 2024. So maybe we're onto something here, but I appreciate you guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know your thoughts below, but have a great day. Catch you guys in the next one. Take care.